Hi everyone, welcome to our digital marketing and user experience webinar event with our guest speaker, Anika Kruger. So thank you all for joining. I'm Kaylin Chapman. I'm going to be your host for the event today. So I'm the current External Relations Director for MMSA. We also have on the call with us the President, Kate Parson. So yeah, she's also here for any questions at the end if you want. So before I start, I'm just going to give you guys a quick introduction to who MMSA is. So we're a Macquarie-based society focused mainly on providing, providing kind of career opportunities and events like this for students currently studying at Macquarie. Anyone focused in a marketing degree especially. So we'll also encourage all our members to reach their full potential. So we offer them opportunities to attend events, to get experience, and to learn a few new things across the span of their degree. So quick event overview. So currently, the aim of this event is to provide both postgraduate and undergraduate students with information on digital marketing. So in the event today, we'll be covering, or Anika will be covering, an introduction on marketing, what digital marketing is, digital marketing customer journey, a lot of information hopefully about search engine optimization, as well as user experience, and some tips on how to become or to start becoming a digital marketer. Just a bit of information about claiming GLP points. So this event is a Global Leadership Program approved event. So that means anyone who does want to claim points under code GLX30 can definitely do so by filling out the online seminar form once you've attended the event. Make sure for evidence as well, you screenshot the last slide of the event page to prove that you have attended the event. Great. Cool. So a bit of introduction on our speaker. So let's meet Anika Kruger. She graduated in 2013 from AA School of Advertising. She has a bachelor's degree in brand communications. She currently works at CleverClicks as a digital marketing strategist. So she's also based in Cape Town, South Africa, but works really closely with clients in Canada, UK, and especially in Australia. That's really exciting. She's previously worked as a website designer and an illustrator. So she works on multiple digital marketing strategies for clients to help them achieve year-on-year improvement, as well as positive brand reputation. She also runs the user experience department and has worked on multiple user experience projects, which have had great success. So very excited to welcome Anika to this event. I hope you all learned something. I know I'm definitely going to be. So I'll let Anika take it from here.
Thanks so much, Kaylin. Thank you for having me today. I'm excited to be here and share my career experience with you guys. And I hope you guys learn at least one thing out of this presentation. So I want to start off by taking you through my career journey. And it started, as Kaylin mentioned, at AAA. And I studied brand communication, which relates a lot to above the line and below the line advertising. So a lot of what I did was work on video production, animations, illustrations, logos, designing websites. And it was quite a varied, thing that I studied, and a very interesting thing. And the ultimate goal for my, studies was to work at a big ad agency, working on big brands such as, for agencies like Ogilvy. I'm sure you guys might have heard of Ogilvy, but that was my, ultimate goal. And, unfortunately, things don't always go the way you want them to go. So I never got into a big ad agency, which, in the beginning was quite disappointing to me. But it led me to such an exciting career. And so when I stopped studying, I actually started working for a wedding company, a wedding directory. So for 3 years, I worked at SA Weddings, and I started doing graphic design and web development. So I started learning how to code a little bit, how to manage your websites, internal operations, And then I started doing, social media management, which was nothing what I studied. And then I started doing something really cool, like editorials and styled shoots, and as well as email marketing. And I worked on such cool shoots. I mean, we did the shoots that I art directed. It was a carnival inspired styled shoot. And I mean, these are the things that I experienced after studying, which was really, really awesome, but, very much in line with what I studied, but not exactly what I studied. And so as well, during that period of time, I also kind of dabbled in other areas in my career. And, with in my spare time, I did game design. So I worked with a bunch of friends, and we, built a game from scratch, which I designed. I worked for a non-profit organization as well, where I did recipe book designs for the poor and people who live in the rural areas, and a lot of illustrations. So I guess my kind of point here is that even while you're working and while you're studying, it's always a good idea to tap into other areas and see what else you can do. And you'll learn so much more just by doing other things in your spare time. And so from my career, I now work at Clever Clicks, and I'm now a digital marketing strategist, and I've been for the past 4 years, and I also run the UX department. So my journey from point A to point B was, very different from what I thought it would be. But that's life, and life gives you these kinds of journeys, and it's always going to be the right one for you if you put in the hard work. So now I'm going to kind of take you through marketing and what it means to me, and give you some really cool insights into what I do. And so I want to start off with a quote. This guy is called Seth Godin, and he's a best-selling author and blogger and a digital marketing guru that we all follow in the company. And he says, marketing is no longer about the stuff that you make, but about the stories you tell. And this is such an important quote or piece of advice that I can give you guys as well, is, when your brand tells a story, and a great story, and consumers can relate to it, they begin to kind of trust you, and they start to like you as well. So that emotional response is a very important key to having in the modern marketing world, to having someone actually buy your products or use, your services. So I want to take you guys back like 60 years ago, 50 years ago, to the 1960s, 70s. And it's estimated in the 1970s alone that consumers would be exposed to up to 1,600 ads a day, which is, quite a lot. But, the use of computers also came in the 1970s, and it was changing the way people were starting to think about how to do their ads. In the 1960s, advertising was very to the point messaging as well. So you'll have ads like this one over here. And I mean, Wonder Sauna hot pants. I don't know what the brand is, but I know it looks, ridiculous. But, it reduces your waist, tummy, hips, and thighs. Very to the point messaging. And when, computers started coming into play in the 70s, they started to see what users were actually, worried about, what they were thinking about, what kind of markets happenings were happening in the world. In the USA, there was a recession going on in the world. So people were very worried about, their budgets and where were they going to get food. So this is where, copywriting came into play as well. And so you would start seeing ads like this one from Kraft, how to eat well without eating up the budget. So advertising started to become more focused on people and their emotions. And I mean, an ad like this as well, where we know that smoking is bad for you. So they started to become clever. Advertisers started to use dentists or health, professionals. As your dentist, I would recommend you smoking, and people trusted this, So it was very interesting where ads were to what they are kind of today. You have, advertisers using real world problems to advertise what's going on in the world and to make an impact on people's lives. Even companies like beer companies, create ads to say, look, you can drink it, but just, be careful. So really tackling people's emotions in a simplistic way has a big, big impact on what people do and what their spend is. And so what we see today is this as well: ads, pop-ups. You're bombarded with ads on a daily basis. And I mean, it's crazy to think how many ads there are and how many ads we actually see in the modern marketing world today. I want you guys to actually have a guess, if you can switch off your unmute button and just like tell me, how many ads do you think the average person encounters on a daily basis? Just scream it out. Anyone?
Maybe like 200?
200. Anyone
I'm
else?
gonna 1,500.
1,500. Anyone else? No?
8,000.
8,000. Very close. Is that Nathan?
Oh,
Yes,
Cool.
it was.
The average person is now estimated to encounter between 6,000 to 10,000 ads per day. I mean, so
oh wow.
Nathan, well done. You got it very close. So, I mean, that's a lot. So if you do an ad, you need to have a story. You know, it needs to be relevant, it needs to be creative, and it needs to incorporate like what's going on in the world. You know, people aren't interested in just seeing an ad. The other day I was, you know, browsing my Facebook, as we do, and I got like so many pregnancy taste ads, and I was like, I'm not even there in my life right now. So it really is important for marketers and digital marketers to have all these points down, you know, in order to make an impact on someone's life and in order to get them to buy your product and your service. So what is digital marketing? And I've got a very boring little explanation here for you that you can read, but it is basically using online-based technologies like your computer and your phone, social media channels, paid channels, to reach an audience and promote your products and services. But what's important to know is you've got to do it at the right time. People's, you know, only have a 3-second attention span, so you need to capture them in that 3 seconds. And if you don't, they're going to go away. They're not going to watch your video, and they're not going to click through to your website. And so today I want to take you through the 9 digital marketing areas that I needed to learn and that you all need to learn if you're interested in this. But I also want to talk to you guys today about how they all kind of work together to create like a really successful foundation for a business. And these areas are, we'll start off with search engine optimization. Now, search engine optimization is a very important part of a basis of a website. It's getting your website up in the first page on Google. And I mean, there's a lot that goes on in search engine optimization, but like I said, it's the basis of any digital marketing strategy, and you have to get it right. We all know what social media marketing is. You know, you have all these platforms that you can, you know, get consumers' attentions on, and how you do it is very important as well. We have content marketing, which is a, you know, very important part, because people read a lot of your blogs, they read information, they want to know what the prices are, they want to know, you know, what other people are saying about your business. And then we have email marketing, and that's reaching out to, you know, people, that's getting people's attention as well. And then video production, which never actually was part of the digital marketing area, but it's such an important part of running a business today. You know, I'm sure you guys all know, watching a video versus reading, you know, you sometimes just rather watch a video. And then we have web design. Let me actually put my point on. There you go. Then we have web design over here, which includes user experience. Mobile design. Is your website, you know, does it work on mobile, your tablet, and your desktop? It's got to all look the same, and it's a constant thing you've got to change. A/B testing. You know, people's habits change, people's way of thinking change, so it's important to keep that going as well. And then another thing that's pretty new in the digital, well, not too new, is app development. So you have companies like, you know, Woolworths or shopping apps that you now can just download and work via the app instead of having to go online, look for products. You can just download the app and easily shop within the app. And then we have public relation, which has got to do with, you know, managing your customers and the customer relationships you built, as well as the business relationships. And then we have paid search, which are those little nasty, sometimes nasty ads you see throughout all your platforms, and they've got to be extra, you know, right to make it work. So these are the 9 digital marketing areas that I work in and my team work in on a daily basis. And so these areas of marketing all fit into what's called the customer buyer journey. Now, this is a industry best practice module that all digital marketers use to get customers from point A to point B to buy your product or buy your service or use your service. And I'm going to take you through each of the phases and how all of those strategies actually come into play into each of the areas. So we'll start off with exposure. When you have a new website, you need it to like get out there in the world. You know, you want people to actually see your website, visit your website. You want the traffic going there. So how do you do that? Well, the first thing we do is via SEO. So you use Google search and paid ads. You can also use social media, emails, word of mouth, and video. There's so many ways and different ways to get your website out there into the world. And kind of the most important one is Google search and paid ads, which I'm going to touch upon a bit later in the presentation. But that's the first step in any customer buyer journey. The second step is discovery. So once they're kind of on your website, customers generally go about, you know, looking through all your content on the website. They start learning to know a bit about your brand, what your brand's about, who your brand is. Do people use your brand, you know? And so how you do that is by putting the right kind of content on your website, having the right set of video, having a blog. A blog is so important because people want information these days. The more information, the better. You know, they want information about your products, about your services. I mean, even if you tell really nice stories, you know, people have that emotional connection to you. So they start to discover who you are as a brand. And then they start to consider, you know, do I want to use this company? Do I want to use this website? And so how do they consider you? Well, you know, they read reviews. And this is such an important part of any website and any brand is reviews and testimonials. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys do this, but I do this always. When I buy a product or I decide to use a service, I always go to a few different sites to see what people are saying, you know, about them. And even if there are negative reviews and the company doesn't respond, I'm like, you know what, this company actually doesn't care about what people are saying, so I'm going to use another company. So consideration is very important because it leads to the ultimate thing that every digital marketer wants, and that's a conversion. And that is the action of just someone filling in that form or buying your product or using that service. And if they're there, I mean, a lot of companies kind of stop at that journey, but it goes further than that. Once a consumer actually does fill in your form or buy your product or use your service, it comes down to the customer relationship. And basically what this is, it's just the post-conversion experience. You know, if a company sends me after I've actually, you know, bought a product from them and they send me discounts and specials, I'm going to be like, sure, you know, this company actually does care about me as a person, you know, even though they might not really care, they, you know, they give me benefits and discounts and they're actually managing the relationship that I've now given them at their feet. So customer relationship management, or CRM as we call it, is a very important part of a customer's buyer journey. And what that does create is retention. If a customer has a good experience, they might stay for life, you know, and that's what you want. You want like long life customers who trust you and will come back. And what happens then as well is word of mouth. You know, you're going to tell your friends, you're going to tell your family, you know, the service is really good, use it. I've used it, I've had a great experience. So the customer buyer journey is, you know, all those areas of marketing factors into this whole funnel that you always have to keep in mind when doing a very, very good, thorough, successful digital marketing strategy for a website. And so today, what I want to take you through are two of the areas that I specialize in, and that is search engine optimization and web design. Now, I can't see all of you guys because not all of your videos are on, but how many of you guys know what search engine optimization is? Maybe just a show of hands from the 6 people I can see. Yes, Nadia. Anyone else? Yes, Dylan, you know, thanks. Cool. So search engine optimization is a very, it's kind of the first area in any digital marketing strategy. It's having your website, you know, optimized so that Google can find it, essentially. The other part of the presentation that I want to take you through today is web design and how user experience relates to the whole marketing strategy and to search engine optimization. So I'm going to take you through SEO now. Get excited. So what is SEO? Well, SEO is for short. It's search engine optimization. And basically, it's the practice of getting traffic to your website. So that first part of a customer buyer journey, it's getting those eyes to your website through organic search results, via it's through Google or Bing or any other search engine. And the process of it is, you know, optimizing your website so that a search engine can find it and show it at the top of the results. So just an example here, if I'm looking for online clothing shop in South Africa, these are the three results that I'm seeing, which is Superbalist, Sander, and The Fix. So they're doing a really good job at their SEO, especially for the keyword that I'm looking for. And if I'm looking for something like a vegan restaurant, I've got this search results coming up here. This is called a local pack. And it's basically Google Maps displaying me the restaurants that I want to see that are closest to me, that have good reviews, and that I might actually like. So this is basically what SEO is. It's having your website fully optimized in order to display at the top of the search results pages. I mean, you can see here at the top, if I search for vegan restaurants, there are over 751 million results. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of competition. But yet I've got these 3 popping up first. So really, there are a lot of competition. But if you do your SEO right, you will, you know, reap the rewards on the search. So how does SEO work? Well, this might be a little bit technical, but I'm going to try to explain it in the best way possible. So what Google does, it crawls websites to determine how well your website is optimized in various different areas that I'm going to take you through today. And when Google crawls your website, it basically helps understand what your website, is it optimized? You know, it looks for different little elements by sending out what's called spiders. Okay, so we call them spiders, but basically what a spider is, it's pieces of code that Google sends to your website, and it crawls each of your pages on the website to determine how well your content's optimized and various different other things. So that's what Google does in order to put you up there in the search results. So there are 2 areas of SEO that I want to take you through today, and that we work on for our clients on a kind of daily, weekly basis. It's kind of what we do. And the first area of SEO is called Onpage SEO. And what it is, it's the practice of optimizing each individual page on your website in order to rank higher and earn more traffic. And you want relevant traffic. You know, if you're typing in a keyword in the search and you're popping up for, you know, if you're a restaurant, but you're popping up for a vegan restaurant, but you're popping up for like a meat restaurant, you're not doing a good job at your SEO. So the more relevant traffic is obviously the best. So how do you do that? Well, there are 3 areas in on-page SEO that we work on. The first area I'm going to tell you about is content and keywords. So it's about the type of content you have on your website, the quality of the content, And believe me, Google knows how fresh your content is as well. If you have, content from 2000, they're going to, penalize you for that. You need to have up-to-date, fresh content on a regular basis, and quality content as well. And the keywords you use on your website are also very important, because those are the keywords that people are going to use when searching for your business. The second area is technical optimization, which goes much further than what I'm going to explain to you now. But basically that's, optimizing for your title tags and meta descriptions. So what is a title tag and a meta description? Well, when you search for, say, blueberry macaroons, which I love, you're going to get these search results. And the blue text over here is called a title tag. And basically the description below that is called a meta description. And so when you have all these search results, you're seeing those descriptions. It's kind of like copywriting in a way, where you have to have really good title and a really good description in order for people to click through to your website. And so when I search for blueberry macaroons, and this is just my opinion, but when I saw blueberry macaroons with jam filling, I'm going to be like, damn, that sounds good. I'm going to go for this search result rather than the first one. So having a good title and a good meta description for each of your pages is really important for what's called click-through rate. And that's when users click through to your website. They might decide, I'd rather like the sound of blueberry macaroons with jam rather than just blueberry macaroons. So that's what title tags and meta descriptions are. Another area that you need fully optimized is called your website architecture, and of course your design. So basically what this is how your website is laid out. From your home page, your service pages, it's kind of like a little spidergram that you got to follow in an optimized way. It's also about how well your website is optimized for mobile. Do you have like duplicate content on your website? So if you have a section of content on your homepage that you also have on the contact page, Google's going to penalize you for that. And it's going to rank you lower in the search results because you have that duplicate content. I mean, there are many areas more than this that I can take you through, but these are some of the main ones. Another big factor of good SEO is page speed. So what we do is we use a tool called Page Speed Insights to see how well your website is optimized for speed. So when you visit a website on mobile and it doesn't really load, what you're going to do, you're going to leave the website and look for another company. And that's really important, because what Page Speed Insights does is it's very simple to use, and you guys can actually go off and use it yourself. Just type in Page Speed Insights, put in a URL, and you can see this website here called The Egg has a very low page speed for desktop. And so I know people aren't going to use that, and there are many ways to optimize your page speed on a website, from having your images to the right size through to having your video compressed. And again, this is a very important factor. Another big factor is HTTPS. So basically what it does is it tells Google that your website is secure. Now, I'm not sure if you guys have ever searched for a company and you have that not secure sign in the search. Now that can lead people away from your website. So having a secure website is a very important factor for someone to actually visit your site. So this is Onpage SEO. And the next area I want to take you through is called Offpage SEO. And this is a kind of a little bit more tricky, but what Offpage SEO is, it refers to all activities away from your site in order to help improve your rankings and rankings of a page with search engines. So there are 4 different areas I want to take you through with Offpage SEO. The first area is earning links. And basically what that means is you have your website, and then you have a lot of different little links pointing to your site. And if you have, really good links pointing to your site, what that does is it actually builds up your website's authority. And now this might be a little tricky to understand, and if you have any further questions after this, please let me know. But I'm not sure if you guys know, but your website actually has a score out of 100, and it's called a domain authority score and a page authority score. So how to get your score of your website really high up, like this guy, Neil Patel, who's a really, really famous digital marketing influencer, someone I follow really thoroughly every day. His website has a domain authority of 81 out of 100, which means if you search anything digital marketing related, you're definitely going to find Neil Patel's website up there in the search results. So page authority is such an important part of SEO and getting people to notice your business. Other areas of off-page SEO is, personal factors like the country and the locality. So if your business is, based in Australia, but you're showing up in USA, that's not the right traffic that you want. So how do you optimize for locality? Well, it's by using the right keywords. So I'm using the vegan restaurant thing a lot, but I'm a vegan restaurant in Australia. I'm based in Sydney. Those keywords are really important to tell Google where you're at. There are also other technical ways to do this, but that is one of the main ways that we help clients show up in the results in their countries. Another factor of page SEO is social media, believe it or not, but it's about the amount of shares you get, how well your reputation is. Like, do you have good reviews on social media? Are you getting links from social media? How many people are sharing your posts? So these areas also have a big impact on where you'll show up in the search results. And that is SEO in a nutshell, in a very summarized nutshell, but it goes further than that. So what I've done is I'll share these links with you guys afterwards, but these are some of the sort of basic guides that I've used and I still use throughout my career to just refresh my memory on everything SEO. We've got Neil Patel over here, who's a very, very good, very famous influencer in digital marketing. We've got Moz, a company that's fronted SEO for a very, very long time. Search Engine Land, which is a blog-based website who brings out news on a constant basis. If you guys do want to know more about SEO and what's going on in the SEO world, I really highly recommend visiting this blog. And then we have WordStream, another company that just does really well in digital marketing space. So if you're interested to learn more about SEO, please go to these guides, read about it, and yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. Okay, so now we've covered SEO, and now we're getting traffic to your website. We're getting the right traffic, and we're getting a lot of traffic. And how we're seeing this is by using a tool called Google Analytics. So Analytics is basically a data platform that's plugged into your website, and it shows us all the data, all the data that you can find to know what people are doing on your website, where your traffic's coming from, how many people are visiting your website, to which countries are actually visiting your website. You can filter on literally anything and everything in Google Analytics, and it can really set a good basis for a good further digital marketing strategy. This is a tool that I would recommend everybody get to learn if you guys want to further your career in digital marketing. So now we've got all these people, visiting your site. What's next? Well, for us, for my agency that I work in, it's user experience. And what is user experience? And I'm sure you guys all know, but it's basically how a person feels when using your website or your product or your service or your app. And it's basically, it's the meaningful and valuable aspects of human-computer interaction. We all know what a human is and what a computer is. So having your user journey on your site, optimized for your target audience is so, so important. And it's an extremely varied subject, as I said here. It combines a lot of aspects of psychology, business, market research, design, technology. I mean, it's insane and it's so amazing. It's such a cool subject. And, you know, as a UX designer myself, I do wear a lot of hats, and I do have to know, you know, what's going on in Australia at all times. I work for a property company. And so with, you know, with COVID hitting us, I had to know what people were feeling, you know, in the property market. So I had to read a lot of news. You know, how are people reacting? Are they buying properties now? Are they, you know, waiting to buy? Or because the property prices in Australia kind of went down, are they buying? How can I make them buy? So these are the kinds of questions a UX designer has to ask herself or himself, you know, is what am I going to do to make all these people actually convert? So I want to take you through sort of the basic things that I, you know, look at when I do a UX strategy. And it's called basic for a reason. These are the kind of areas that I work in and always keep in my mind when I do a UX strategy for a client, whether it's a new website or, you know, a website that's been, you know, going on for many years. Is it beautiful? We'll start here, you know. Yes. Is it aesthetically pleasing? Is it still aesthetically pleasing to the user? You know, back in the day, I know this is quite an interesting fact that black call to actions, so buttons on a website, actually converted users. Now it's green. Those little bits of information can make or break a website. It's also about, you know, consistency. Does it follow the style guide? Is it properly aligned? You know, when someone goes through a website, does it look nice? People have those emotions when going on a website. The second one is accessibility. You know, does it comply with standards? You know, is it cross-platform compatible? Does it work on tablet, mobile, and your desktop? Does it look similar on all of these areas? And that's a very important part of, you know, doing a UX strategy. Simplicity is another area. You know, does it reduce a user's workload? If you go onto a website, you don't want to put a lot of work into finding a form or, you know, looking for information. You want it to be simple. You want to go, oh, that's the product, that's the color I want to buy it. You don't want to go through all these unnecessary steps. So simplicity is such an important part of a UX strategy. Is it intuitive? Does it require a lot of instructions? It kind of relates to simplicity. Do I have to go through a whole lot of instructions to find what I want? Is it predictable? You know, if I fill in a form, am I going to know what's going to happen afterwards? You know, do I know when I fill in a form, it takes me to a thank you page and the business says you'll have your delivery in the next 2 days? Then I'm like, okay, cool. I know what's going to happen. But if it doesn't say anything, I'm going to be like, oh, I don't want to use this site ever again. So it's got to be intuitive and easy to learn. And the last area is consistency. You know, does it reuse the same patterns? You know, are the call to actions or buttons all similar? Do they use the same colors? Does it stand out? Is the font the same? I'm telling you guys, I've worked with so many websites who use at least, I think the one website I worked with like a few years ago had, I'm not kidding, 10 different fonts on the homepage. And when you read it, it really does distract your eyes. So, I mean, the best practice is to use 2 fonts, at least 2 fonts, one for your headers and one for your copy. And that creates consistency and a good flow, especially for your eyes. Another thing is white copy. White copy is so difficult to read. So, you know, all these factors, you know, fit into a good UX strategy. And so I want to take you through how we find all these opportunities in the company that I work with today and what I've been doing for the past 3-4 years. And so what we do is we use a tool called Hotjar. And this is very interesting. What you do is basically you put your URL in Hotjar, which is a tool, and it basically tracks where people click on your website. Like, where are they clicking on? So one of the companies I work for is called Bushman Tanks. I'm not sure if you guys know, but you buy water tanks from them. And I was doing a UX strategy for them, and I noticed that, you know, a lot of people were clicking on their menu. Not a lot on their form. You can see like there are some heated areas here, but not a lot. It also shows you in this screenshot how many people actually scroll, you know, on your page. So you can see here that 75% of users actually only get to the end of the form. So I'm missing out on 25% of people actually seeing the form or filling in the form. And this is what Hotjar does. It just tracks what people do, where they click, and you can see, you can find so many cool opportunities. The other tool we use is called usertesting.com. Now my GIF's not working, but it's a very cool GIF. And basically what it is, it's a live platform where you give people tasks to do, and literally you sit and watch what they do. And from watching them, you can see, oh my gosh, this girl is not going to where I want her to go. This guy's not doing what I want him to do. You also hear what they're saying while they're using your website. And I've had a customer say, oh, or a user tester say, oh, you know, this form, I just hate it. And I found that with a few people. And so I knew I had to change the form. I had to change the way this form looks, the way it functions, you know, make it easier. And then of course, the other tool we use is Google Analytics, which I've kind of touched upon, but it's just a very cool platform or tool that gives us all the data we need to make informed decisions on what to do. So all these tools are what I use to inform my UX strategies. And so let's focus a bit on Bushman Tanks. So we have this, you know, data that we can see people are clicking on the menu, but they're not converting on mobile. They're not actually filling in this form on mobile. And, you know, so I had a lot of the users on user testing actually test the mobile menu functionality. And I found that this is what it was. Look, this is what it looked like. So when you clicked on the menu, this is what the menu looked like. And I have two screenshots here to show you how long the menu is. So you can see here farming starts there and then farming over here. And I mean, this is just an endless scroll. You can't actually differentiate between what's going on there, you know, what users want to see, what they want to do. And I got that from the user tests as well. So what we did is we took a step back and we went, what are competitors doing? You know, what do the users want? You know, what is our data telling us? And just a small change, and this is what we did. We just added drop downs, you know, and we helped the customer see where they're at in the drop down. And by doing this, we increased mobile conversion rate by over 30%, which is a lot. And I'm not allowed to tell you guys numbers, but we got a lot of good business just from doing this change on the mobile navigation and menu navigation. And so these are the kinds of things that we do in our UX projects. The other thing I worked on recently was a chatbot. So again, you know, users filling in a form, it takes a while for them to get to the form. But with a chatbot, I mean, it's instant. So we implemented this chatbot to help users navigate the site very quick in one place on one page. And again, we increased conversions by over 50% just by implementing the chatbot. So, and the chatbot, I think, came out about 3, 4, 5 years ago when chatbots actually became popular to use. A lot of people don't like it, but it works for some target audiences. And for this company, it worked. And we're still seeing good improvements by using this chatbot. And now another thing was, you know, COVID. So a lot of digital agencies were like, companies were like, you know, it's years away. I don't need to change my strategies. And then COVID comes, boom. And you're like, oh my word, as a digital marketer, I had to, you know, the team had to change our strategies like this because people were starting to feel nervous. People weren't buying. People were scared, you know. And so what we had to do is we had to educate them. We had to educate people on don't worry, the impact of COVID is here. So for this property company, we created webinars, and, we published them on social media. We did paid advertising, and we got so many people actually buy or use this company just because of the information we were giving them. So my kind of final points on UX is it's always changing. It's always an interesting thing to learn, the developments and the technological advances that comes with UX and digital marketing as a whole. I mean, it's so interesting, and you guys will never get bored. And so I only took you through 2 areas today, but there's so much more to learn, And so after this, I've got like another bunch of great UX kind of areas that you can go to, or platforms, and I've listed them here, and I'll send you all of these after the presentation as well. We've got UX Planet, Udemy, which I'm sure you guys might know as well. They have a bunch of cool UX kind of related free courses that you can just get your knowledge up to scratch about what's going on in the UX world today. We've got Envision, which is a really cool design platform we use to develop new templates and wireframes. And then we have Skillshare, which is just a whole bunch of awesome influencers chatting about their online UX and UI experiences. And so today, my tips or the takeaways that I want you guys to know, and my journey throughout my whole career to becoming a digital marketer and to make it fun, is, the first thing is to practice, start a website, have fun doing it, fail, learn, do a bit of coding. It's so fun to do it, and you shouldn't see it as work. The other thing is, read blogs, read books. And if you're not into reading, you can do, online books and webinars. And I think also following and watching influencers are so important, because they're influencers for a reason. And digital marketing influencers are so fun to watch, and they can teach you so much. Attend webinars. So well done for being here, even though I'm not, the most expert person in digital marketing. I hope you did take away something today from, the presentation. And then attending online events, the more people you watch, the more, information you take in, the better. And yeah, those are my tips to becoming a good digital marketer and to make it fun. And that is it. That is my preso. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope I helped you become excited about digital marketing. Thanks.
Well, thank you. That was really good.
Thanks so much, Anika. That really was great. I definitely took a lot away, and I think a lot of people did as well. So that's really great thing to learn about, especially since it's becoming so relevant. I think, especially as you said, like COVID really has taken a massive hit to companies waking up and realizing I need digital marketing right now, because there's no other way to maybe reach clients, because a lot of forms or other traditional forms that people are using are not being utilized at the moment. So yeah, digital marketing has become so relevant. So thank you for sharing that. So we are now moving on to, let's move on to the right slide. Sorry, bear with me, guys. Great, question and answer section. Great, this is where everyone gets to ask as many questions as they want. So if you do have any questions about digital marketing, I guess Anika's experience, anything you want to know, I do believe she'll do her best to answer any of these questions. So definitely ask. You can ask by unmuting yourself on the chat function. Unmuting yourself, like I guess on Zoom, or you can use the chat function as well to type out your message if you'd like. So,
I have one question. Can you look at your competitors on Google Analytics, or can you only look at your own site?
No, you can. There are ways you can look at your competitors. So, I mean, there are many platforms that actually allow you to grab information from your competitors. And that's kind of the first strategy we actually do. We do a competitor analysis. I can list all the tools afterwards for you guys. that I use to do these analysis. It's actually scary, the amount of information you can grab from other people and other companies' websites. So yes, it's possible.
Thank you.
There's a question from Anthony James. How has COVID affected the current company you work for? Has business sales gone up or down? That's a good question. So as a digital marketer, our business has actually gone up. Like Kaylin said, businesses actually realized the importance of digital marketing during this whole COVID situation, because their business, their leads and their business was declining. And so a lot of our clients were like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do now? And we had to implement even better strategies. Some of them even paid us, you know, a little bit more to do some more work for them. And now that COVID's kind of, well, it's still in play, but we're seeing those benefits now. So yes, as a digital marketing agency, we're doing quite well. And I think from, you know, a lot of my friends are also in the industry and they're saying the same thing. So yeah, COVID has affected the digital marketing world quite well, and it's built up our reputation as well. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. Any other questions?
I've got a quick one. If someone wants to start their own website, whether it be for selling things or like a blog, and they're not like super techie that they could like create it themselves, what platforms would you recommend, like Wix, or is there one that you'd recommend to use?
Yeah, so for us, I would recommend WordPress. WordPress, I mean, has got such a great amount of tutorials for you guys, or for anyone to actually start building their own website. WordPress, and another platform that we use, but that could get quite expensive, is HubSpot. HubSpot has a really great integrated built-in system, but that's, I think, more for you know, kind of growing businesses. So my advice would probably be WordPress, definitely WordPress. Yeah. What programs do you use most frequently when assisting clients? That's a tricky question, because I think on a daily basis I use about 10 to 15 programs. The most, I guess, the program that I use the most, or the tool, do you mean tools? The tools that I use the most is Google Analytics. And that basically gives me an idea of what's going on a website on a daily basis. It's live. It gives you live updates every second. It tells me who's on my site, where they're located, what they're doing. If something goes wrong with a website, I can see it immediately. I get notifications. Another tool I use quite frequently is called Advanced Web Rankings, or as we call it, AWR. And what AWR does is it monitors the keywords you have on your website. So it tells me on a weekly basis where my keywords are in the search, in Google search. So an idea I can tell you guys is, or an example is, the property clients that I have, property buyer, their main term is buyer's agent. And that term has a search volume of over, I think 1,000, now I've got to refresh, 2,400 searches. So what that means is that over 2,000 people use that keyword on a daily basis to look for a property agent. So my job is to know where that keyword is at in the search, and if their competitors are above them for that keyword. So I use AWR on a daily basis just to monitor where those keywords are at for my clients. And every client has about, 200 to 300 keywords, but we kind of have a summarized list of the most important ones that we monitor on a daily basis. So for me, I would say Google Analytics and Advanced Web Rankings are the two main tools that I use on a daily basis. Yeah. Cool. Oh, there's another one. Courses and fair fluency. Okay, I'll read it out loud. I have already completed multiple courses and have had fair fluency over content marketing, SEO, and analytics. What other courses and tools would you recommend me to learn? Okay, well, for me, there's so many tools. I think it depends on what kind of areas you're interested in. For SEO, I would say a very complicated tool is called, complicated in terms of there's a lot to learn, would be SEMrush. Yeah, SEMrush, there you go, you said it. SEMrush is a very good tool. It basically puts all your data in one place about what's going on with your SEO. Another tool that we use as well is called Ahrefs, and basically Ahrefs monitors your links. So remember I was talking about getting a lot of links to your site to build up your authority. So that's a really important tool to see where your links are coming from, what's happening with your links, and if your competitors are getting more links than you. I guess another tool in SEO that I would recommend is, you know, advanced web rankings, which I've told you about if you're interested in SEO to learn. And you know what I'll do? What I can do for you guys is I'll drop a whole list of tools that I use and where you guys can actually learn from them, the best places to learn from them. Because there are so many that I'm probably not thinking about right now. So I'll send that list to Kaylin, and then she can send that list to you guys.
Same with all the links that she shared in her presentation. I'll also be able to email all you guys. In the chat function earlier, Kate did post stuff about filling in their attendance form as well. So that was a bit earlier. So if you did want to fill out that attendance form, we will get your email from that, and then we can email all the, as Anika said, all the information and all the links and everything, which would be really great for you guys if you did want a bit of a reference on what you can look up, what you can learn from, and what you can look at to, I guess, further your knowledge, which is really exciting. And then, yeah, we also do have a current draw. So the more people that attend MMSA events can also win a voucher at the end. So again, fill in the attendance form if you do want to go into the draw to win the voucher at the end. Yeah. And then, yeah, we're also currently doing signing up to MMSA for free because it's 2020 online. So if you do want to sign up to us, you can go on our website and then, yeah, just sign up super easily. The link is provided as well in the chat function. But otherwise, does anyone have any last questions they want to ask or anything else they want to add?
Thank you.
Maybe just one last question. What made you want to become a digital marketer, really?
I think my career journey kind of led me to it, to be honest. But when I started working for CleverClicks, I mean, the company I work for, we're really focused on learning, and they opened my life towards so many cool, you know, areas of digital marketing. And because it's such a continuous learning curve, even today, I think that's what gets me excited about digital marketing. It's not just, you know, it doesn't plateau at all. You're constantly learning, you're constantly, you know, meeting people. It's an exciting lifestyle, and I think that's what gets me going when I do my strategies. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool.
Great, thanks, Anika. Okay, before we finish up, we are going to take a quick photo. So anyone who is on video, people who aren't, definitely smile. Kate, I know you've got the photo. You have.
I'm just going to take a screenshot. Sorry, it's slow. Alrighty, 3, 2, 1.
Cool.
All right, I think I got that.
Stop sharing.
Yep.
Amazing. Thank you everyone for attending. I hope you learned something. I definitely did. Thank you so much, Anika, for attending the event and sharing all your insights and yeah, about your career journey and all the information on digital marketing. So
thanks so much,
great
guys.
to see
Thanks for
everyone.
having me. Hope you guys have a great evening.
You too.
You too.
Thanks.
Okay.
Cheers.
Bye, everyone.
Okay, bye.